Good morning, Jean. How are you?
Good afternoon, Nicola. I'm wonderful.
Good, good. So, this is the beginning of your day, and it's nearly evening for me here.
Yes, it is the beginning. The shop hasn't opened yet, but soon.
I expect that time in the morning in the store. It's a really nice time where you can stop and think and plan your day.
I love this time of day,
hmm
either or in the shop. I love
Yes,
I love morning.
good, good. Um, I can't believe that we're having to plan the workshop for next year.
Oh,
So
I'm so excited.
I know it's amazing, isn't
I,
it?
I love the samplers. I can't wait to show them to everyone.
Yes, I've got them here ready, but the interest in workshops has caught us totally by surprise.
Yes, but it's wonderful.
It is
It's
wonderful,
wonderful.
isn't it?
Yes,
It's just so nice to think that everybody did enjoy the workshops that has just taken place, and everybody's keen to come back for another one. So a glutton for punishment.
yeah. No, it's a wonderful learning experience when we share this passion
Oh,
for samplers
absolutely, absolutely.
and can learn from you. It's just a wonderful thing.
But we all learn from each other. I came home having learned several things. Um, and I think this is one of the lovely things about the internet and Facebook and blogging and YouTube. Because we're all connecting, we're feeding off each other, we're being inspired, we're being enabled, and we're learning as well. There's this wonderful exchange of knowledge, which is
Yes,
great.
and,
So
and it's so wonderful to share via Flosstube
it is, isn't
the,
it?
the experiences. Like I loved your videos with your needlework natters with Susan and
Elizabeth.
uh, Elizabeth. Yes,
Yes, yeah.
yes,
Well, they're
and
they're great friends.
it was really fun. I felt like I was there.
And it was lovely the one I did with Claudia and Sandra, who of course live in
Oh,
Arizona.
yes.
And it was wonderful to think they were over here in Cornwall. We need to see you and John over here as well.
Okay, I will. I need to do that. It is so beautiful.
It is beautiful. I get inspired every single day. Yesterday it was Bertie Boo's birthday, so we took him, both of us, Ray and I, both went out as it was special. We did it together, and we took him on this wonderful long walk. And as you know, I messaged you on the walk, didn't I, to say I
Yes,
knew which projects I wanted to do for the workshop next year. Inspiration comes from looking at beauty around you in all sorts of forms. So,
yes,
shall we show the world what we have chosen for next year?
yes. I
Yes.
can't wait.
Okay. Well, some of the ladies who came to the workshop at the attic would have seen this sampler because it's one of the samplers I brought loose, and it's a band sampler.
Yes.
And this sampler will be what we will call the technical day of the 2 day workshop. And it's really hard holding things up to the camera when it's in a reverse position. It's a reversible sampler, and it's just so pretty. I love the fact that it has two freehand bands and this beautiful Bargello band and a rice stitched band as well. And then we have
I love.
yeah, a
I,
second,
I love the right stitch.
yeah,
That's one of my most favorite stitches,
lovely.
and that was one of the things that made me fall in love with this sampler.
Look at the colours.
Yes, it's magnificent,
Yeah, and
and
the colours aren't
and
showing as nicely as they really are, but the sun's gone round now, so the light comes into this room in a funny way. But
yes.
that's so beautiful. Um,
Oh,
Now I
I'm
haven't.
so excited.
I haven't charted this sampler just yet, but so I haven't really explored it. But the verse
Yes.
is beautiful. It says, "Modesty is said to be the glory of a maiden." Isn't
Oh,
that beautiful?
I love that.
It's just so, so beautiful. And it was stitched by Elizabeth Peto, Peto. So Elizabeth Peto ended her sampler April the 2nd, 1709.
Oh,
Isn't that
isn't
lovely?
that magnificent? 300
And
10
10 years
years.
ago. And Elizabeth Peto, I've actually found her.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which is, it makes the sampler all the more special to me. And
Yes.
on Ancestry, if people who are watching want to go on, they will find a very extensive family tree for Elizabeth. Elizabeth, in 1709, Queen Anne was on the throne. And for people who enjoy movies, the favourite that won an Oscar with Olivia, I'm not very good on film stars, a British actress, she won the Best Actress Oscar this year. That was in the film The Favourite, and that was Queen Anne. So that sets the sampler in people's mind, the period it was stitched in. But on the internet, on this family tree, this young girl's family is recorded all the way back to Edward IV, which is War of the Roses. He was the father of the princes in the Tower. So I love history, and this one's got a nice little bit of history to go back to.
Yes.
The stitches, I haven't explored them yet, but I'm looking forward to doing so and then sharing that with the class. So that's going to be day 1. And this is a really, really beautiful, beautiful sampler. I actually bought this sampler in Cornwall.
Oh.
Yeah, it came up for sale in Cornwall. So that was rather nice because it was one of the samplers that I could actually go and look at in person before I bought it.
Yeah, that's very special.
Yeah, it is very special. So there we are. And it was quite funny, actually. For those people who follow me on Facebook, I posted details of a walk I was doing that day. And I did a video, and my friend and I were on top of this mountain in this wind recording. And after that, we went to the auction house to view this sampler. And we walked in, and we were a little bit sort of windswept and a bit sort of muddy. And I don't think the auctioneer thought I could afford to buy the sampler. There we are. Anyway, the second sampler, because this is going to be a 2-day workshop with 2 projects, just to make it extra specially exciting for everybody. And the sampler, now this sampler is charted, and it's in its frame, so I'm hoping I can show this without too much reflection. So it's a beautiful schoolgirl sampler. It has a gorgeous inner border that's all satin stitched, and the flowers in the outer border are really, really pretty. I think there's four different types of flowers that alternate between the outside and the inside border. There is a lovely freehand stem stitch vine which wraps itself around this column. The steps of the house are satin stitched.
Yes.
And it was
beautiful.
It was stitched by Anne Castle, finished this in the year of our Lord 1811. Now it's very difficult for the colours to show because of this light, but what I have in my attic project bag, these bags are so handy, Jean. I use them all the time. And all the different sizes I use as well for different projects. So these are the colours that are used. Aren't they beautiful?
Oh, they're gorgeous.
And they're a fabulous match to the actual sampler. I'm really, really pleased with how authentically I could match these colours. And the fabric is Weeks Zweigart Parchment, and it is
Wonderful.
a wonderful match. Oops, sorry, I'm getting... Oh, it's so difficult to work this with the...
Yes.
I can't see this in reverse. As you know, I'm dyslexic. This is really hard for me. But I think everybody can see what a lovely match that linen is to the sampler. Well, I hope they can anyway. The stitch count on Anne Castle, so that people can get a bearing on the sampler, is 327 by 396. So it's a big sampler, but a worthy sampler for the workshop as well. So yeah. And the lovely thing about Anne Castle is because somebody took the trouble to record the information on the back of the sampler, we know which house is on the sampler, and we know the history of the house and the people who lived in the house. So there's going to be a really nice story with that sampler as well.
And how close do you live to the house?
Oh, this house is in, just a second, it's near London. Well, I say London, Berkshire. It's in Wargrave, Berkshire. And the house formed, it was on the estate of a manor house, and the people who lived in the house were the grandparents of the little girl who stitched the sampler, and they were in service there. So it's all recorded on the back of the sampler. There's even a picture of the original house. Well, the house is still there. It exists because I've researched it, and it does look very much like the house on the sampler. So I love that.
Well, when I come to visit Cornwall, I can also go to see the house.
You could, because you would fly into London.
Yes.
So you could have a detour through Berkshire. Anyway, if you come to England, there's so many different places I want to take you.
Well, I'd really like to do that.
Yeah.
Next very special year, John and I celebrate 50 years of marriage. We should do something special.
You should do so, yes. And I think that we'd have to have a reception for you in the UK, because there'd be so many UK stitchers that would want to meet you.
Oh, that would be fun. I would love to meet them.
Yes. No, we will. We will do something very special when you come over. So I can see that you have a very lovely sampler over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Isn't she beautiful?
Should I try bringing the camera closer or not?
I think we need to move the camera to your right slightly. Just to your right.
To my right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
It's hard. There we are. That's beautiful, Jean. We can see it. So that's Hannah Coates.
Yes.
And here she is. Photographs never do samplers justice at all. She looks absolutely gorgeous there. It's lovely to see her, because I stitched her.
You did?
I stitched Hannah, yes. I think she was our third sampler that we reproduced for Hands Across the Sea samplers, and it would have been the early part of 1960. See, you can tell I'm in the past. 2016 we reproduced her. So yeah, she looks absolutely beautiful. And Hannah was out of print for quite some time. But I've had a very big reorganisation in the house. I've managed to create some room. So I brought one sampler back, and the sampler I wanted to bring back was Hannah Coates, because I get so many emails about her. I just love the happiness of the sampler.
I love the border.
Yeah.
And I especially love the little girl in the upper right corner.
Yeah,
she's so sweet.
She is, isn't she? And the birds. The birds are
And then
huge.
The birds are magnificent.
They are, aren't they?
And then all of the animals on the grass. It's really has so many wonderful elements.
Yeah. What I did, it's really quite funny because when I looked back at the original booklet for Hannah, I realised how much we had grown as a company and we have sort of at the beginning, we were experimenting with different styles for our booklets, and now we found a style of booklet that we are happier with. I felt that when I was re-releasing her, I had to do a new booklet. So Hannah's booklet, she comes with 4 pages of background information, and I had great fun doing extra research on this. And she's now printed in a larger format as well. And we have the centerfold, and we also have the label to go on the back of the sampler and the thread legend on the bookmark as well. So I feel this represents where we are in our journey with Hands Across the Sea samplers. So they came from the printers yesterday. So she is now re-available, which is exciting.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, really chuffed with that. And of course, Hannah has a card as well.
Oh, good.
Which is nice with her little design.
I have a special affinity for Hannah samplers because that's our granddaughter's name.
Oh, wow. Well. And Hannah stitched on her sampler, "I hope this piece of work you'll save."
Yes.
And I think that's so lovely. So there we are.
I've never seen that before. I've seen the first part of that verse, but I don't believe I've ever seen the last line.
Yeah. "This work I've done to let you see the care my parents took of me. When I'm dead and in my grave, I hope this piece of work you'll save." Hannah Coates, aged 15 or 13. 15, I think. 1848. Yes. "Jesus in death, remember me." It is lovely. Really nice.
It really.
Yeah.
I have it started in the upper right-hand corner.
How many starts do you have?
Oh dear. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there.
Oh, dear me. Dear me. So I'm stitching quite a big sampler at the moment, and I started this sampler quite a while ago, and this sampler keeps on getting put on the back burner because something else comes up that's very pressing. Yeah. And a few weeks ago I said to myself I was going to stitch this sampler and nothing else, and that was going to be it. Well, because everybody's so interested in the workshops, and I've had to decide on projects earlier than I had expected, I'm afraid that poor Emma is going to have to be put on the back burner because I'm going to start stitching Elizabeth Peter. So this afternoon I must chart at least 2 lines so I can start stitching her tonight. I cut the fabric today.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, I haven't worked out the stitch count, but I've cut the fabric roughly.
Oh, yes. Okay.
There we are. So I was trying to think, is there anything else that we need to catch up with? The date.
I've been busily planning the curriculum for the January 2020 Sampler Symposium, and I'm very excited about that.
Good. I so hope that I make the cut on that.
Oh, I would love that if you would be able to.
Very much would like to. I honestly, every event I've attended at the Attic has just been wonderful, and I've come home and it just I've been so inspired by the people and just the whole experience. It is really very, very special coming.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
Nicola. It's very special having you.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy hosting these events because I too meet so many wonderful people, and the teachers that we have available to us are wonderful. We're so fortunate as needleworkers to live in the same time period with you and Sherry Jones and Jeanette Douglas
To
and
everybody,
Vicki,
isn't it? Yeah.
and those are the three that are going to be a part of our January symposium.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that.
A very special part of it is going to be a tour of Vicki Jennett's home. She, as many of you know, is an incredible sampler collector, and her collection just keeps growing and growing. But it's always a treat. We've done this before, and it's a very special afternoon, a nice field trip.
Yeah. Well, I've been, as you know, to Vicki's house with you, and you know, saw many of her samplers, but there are so many there that you need to have a couple of trips to absorb them all. And it was a really lovely time at Vicki's. So yeah, I would love to go back to Vicki's.
Yeah. I also I printed from the newsletter there's a draft pages, but it's pictures of the projects from the sampler symposium.
Oh, wonderful.
I don't know if I can show them.
Of course, you just hold them up. A little bit more to your left. A bit to your left. Yeah. And back towards you. Go back towards you. To your left and then back a bit. That's it. Perfect. No, bit more to your right. Just a little bit to your right. Stop. There we are. The flower tray set. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, I do like that, Jean.
This will be an optional class, but this one will be part of the general curriculum.
Gorgeous.
And then optional class on Friday with Sherry Jones. This just takes my breath away.
That is amazing. What is that little basket made out of?
What is what made out of?
The little basket.
The basket.
Yes.
It's called Scrim, and it's a pin cushion, and it's based on an antique in Sherry's collection.
That's beautiful.
Cynthia, the scrimshaw artist, just does an amazing job. It's just a stunning piece. And then this etui is stitched on 40 silk gauze.
That's just lovely. Really, really lovely.
And that's an optional class because Sherry has taught that 3 or 4 places already.
Right.
So that one will be on Friday.
Lovely.
And then as part of the weekend itself is this piece, which is, I know.
Isn't that adorable? I know, the little wheelbarrow.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Isn't it beautiful? So it's just going to be.
Oh, those pansies.
I hope you can be with us.
Oh, I hope. Well, I'll be there with my email written out, touching my button to post. Definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
I'm finishing the newsletter now, and I hope it posts Thursday night or Friday, and then there'll be about a week's time, and then we'll open registration.
I'll be there ready to press that button to send my email, definitely. So I felt very blessed that I made the cut for summer school this year. It'll only be a few weeks, and I'll be thinking of packing and, getting on that plane to come over, which would be lovely.
It's quickly.
I know.
It's very quick.
Really, really excited about that. So there's lots and lots of exciting things happening in the needlework world at the moment. As you said, we're very blessed to be alive at this time with everything that's going on. So there we are. We've got 2 new releases coming at the end of August. And
Wonderful.
I know, and then we'll have 2 releases end of September, beginning of October.
Oh, faster.
Well, there's so many wonderful samplers to share by reproducing them. So it's great. It's great.
I have to learn to just collect the booklets and not feel I need to stitch them.
Well, I always have a pile of booklets by the side of my bed, and I love dipping into a booklet and reading the graph just as you read a book. I get so much pleasure out of reading a graph. And I don't mean the written pages, I actually mean the graph pages, the chart itself. And then what you do is you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning and you've dreamt that you've stitched it.
It goes fast.
It does. And then reality strikes and you realise that you didn't.
Yes.
Here we are. Going back to the workshop next year, the Hands Across the Sea Samplers workshop, we're going to aim for August, aren't we, for the workshop? And it'll be a 2-day workshop.
Right.
And both of these projects will only be taught the once in the US. And that will be in August of next year. So these are one-off classes.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing those with the attic and with our customers.
Lovely. You'll have to come a little bit back into the centre of the that's better. That's better. Yes, well, it's a special place to come, Jean. And it's got to be special projects.
It's my happy place.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I can't think of anything else. I've been so wrapped up in the past these last few weeks. This afternoon I have been researching master mariners and how they get that qualification and shipbuilding. And this all relates back to a little village in Wales. I bought a sampler some time ago and it had the name of a girl, and there would have been many, countless girls with that name in Wales. And I never thought I could trace the little girl. But when I opened up the back of the sampler, it had all been recorded inside. The information about her. I know, it's wonderful. And she was born on this little small little town village on the North Welsh coast. And it's just been wonderful researching all of that. So I'm in the process of writing her booklet. So she's going to be a release for later on this year.
Wonderful.
Which is nice. So there we are.
Anything to look forward to.
Yes. But it's hard to drag yourself back into the present. Hence me saying in 1819 rather than 2019.
Yes. Well,
there we are.
It's hard to keep track of time because it goes so quickly.
It does. It definitely does. Anyway, it's been lovely talking to you this afternoon, Jean. And you wait, before we know it, we'll be together in August at summer school. And then the next thing it'll be summer school and the Hands Across the Sea workshop in August 2020.
Yes.
If God is kind to us.
Yes. Lots of wonderful things in between.
That's right, very much so. Anyway, for now, bye, Jean.
Bye-bye. Have a lovely day.